Hi Space Watchers, and welcome back to Prague with me and my colleague Torsten Kriening. I'm Yvette Gonzalez, and we have just wrapped up day one of the 8th Prague Space Security Conference. How was your day?
It was a fantastic day, and I'm so happy that we're doing this video not in the conference room, which was still cool in the Channing Palace, but here, that's the core of Prague. That's the Hradčin, the Prague Castle, and we are here next to the, in German we say it Fightstorm, whatever it's in English or in Czech, but it means the big dome, and here the president of the Czech Republic has his residence here as well, I mean in our neighborhood, and it's so cool at that point of time to be here and do this video for you.
And the flag is up today, so
Absolutely.
The president is home.
He is home,
And we're really happy to be out here enjoying Prague, and he's right, we've gotten a sense for the community, the international community. We've had conversations about regional efforts, and now we're kind of taking in this local level, because one of the common themes today was that the space clarity around the space use for military and for all uses is becoming more of a household challenge, a household concern, and that everything that we're learning today should be something that everybody across the planet, across all nations, across all countries should be concerned about. And so this morning, and I guess we have to really thank the team that put this conference together, because it's actually been really phenomenal. So it is the Prague Space Security Institute.
Correctly,
Close
PSSI. Or in short, PSSI.
PSSI, yes. The PSSI team, in fact, have been incredible, and it went really smoothly. All the topics are timely, relevant, and have been extremely interesting and to the point. So this morning, Roger Robinson Jr. opened our whole entire day with a conversation that was really sobering. He said something that actually has been an open conversation, which is that the threats are rising for space and at an alarming rate. Hence, they're doing this now annually and even having conversations more often. There was talk of how often and how frequent should we be talking in this community? How often should these meetings, these conversations be coming together formally? And so he said that now is the time for urgent action, which means we need to essentially win the moon race. Did you get that? That was very clear for everyone.
Yeah, but it was very American as well, to be honest. But yeah, we got this point.
Yeah, but also the common denominator and the theme that was kind of resonating throughout every panel discussion was we are behind. And we being every nation, every country that's working together on efforts for space domain awareness, they understand that they are behind.
Yeah, but when it comes to the moon race, why are they behind? I mean, if you cancel SLS after 3 Artemis things, then don't wonder if your astronauts don't get their boots on the ground. I mean, it's I wouldn't say it's partially a self-injected problem that they do, because they have been ahead of the run. Yeah,
that was absolutely the other theme of the day, and the conversation was exactly that we are also in our own way. And it was a very open, refreshing, and candid conversation about how there's been this dual situation, a simultaneous need for space, and then a need for proprietary steps, because we weren't aware collectively what was going to be happening and unfolding. And now it's unfolding. So yeah, hearing that we need to get out of our own way was really what's happening. Yeah. So I will say the first panel today really resonated with me. One, Peter Hayes was the moderator, and what a fantastic person. It was called Updates on Space Domain Awareness and Threat Mitigation. And every panelist was able to give a presentation of assets in space and trajectories and how they're being used. And it was, for some people here in the audience, including myself, the first time to see how these assets were being used, what their collision paths were, what it was that the space situational awareness was actually bringing to their activities. And so it was a nice update, a real-time update.
And I have to add here, Paul Graziani, the CEO of COMSPOC, gave his, I would say now, usual presentation, but on current assets, which doing what? So if it been the Chinese satellite that are chasing American assets, or the Chinese satellite that performing docking or rendezvous and proximity actions in space, and now docking, refueling capabilities. all the things that you need for what we do as well, or we, Western world, do as well, what you need for the next level of space activities, but now they're coming in a Chinese flag wrapped, and then they're considered to be hostile, unfriendly, unpredictable, and that's something I have a challenge to go all along this way. To be honest, I see that. Yes, I understand all these implications, but yeah, I mean, everyone has the same chance, and if you focus on something you want to achieve, then you focus on it. And on the other side, Americans talk about space domain dominance. Highlander principle, there's only one.
Yeah, and this is why I think it's also important that they highlighted, okay, these commercial government, public, private sector relationships are more important, and this is more than ever. And we heard also from Janice, who was on the early second panel, and the conversation from her was also that our commercial industry is actually an opportunity. It's an entry point, and that we should be following suit, because this is actually going to be one of our keys for the future.
You're talking about Janice Starzyk from the Office of Space, the acting director of the Office of Space Commerce.
And so the conversation was also around the mention of commercial players such as Leo Labs, who was here. We had seen the team in Colorado, and they're here also having part of that discussion from the commercial perspective and how that's working. And then we had how we improve satellite redundancies, and that was also something that was really a key that came out of this morning, and that's one of the solutions moving forward, and the commercial is going to be very important for that. So we had a really, I would say this morning was setting the sobering note for the 2 days, and what a packed 2 days. I'm really shocked that in 2 days this high level conversations go straight to the point.
That's right.
So we also had the representative from Taiwan, and I don't know if you were with me for that. The one thing that really struck me was the also frank and candid conversation around needing 100% control over their satellite services and their space assets. And there was a conversation around them being and it was mostly a joke, but I mean, we do take these times seriously, the context around this. And he said that they were spooked when they heard Musk saying that they need to be part of China. And he openly said that really woke them back up. And so they wanted to make very clear that they have they're not stopping their intention to have full control of their own place and their own role in space. Absolutely. So that was really an interesting point. And then we talked about policy to action, the theme of this entire conference, and about how the EU is at a crossroads. And this crossroads is for their capabilities in space digital awareness. So to your point about American dominance, American-led for what's happened in the past decades, the conversation around EU. And is it a catch-up? Is it now stepping in differently? What is it now? What did we take away today?
I think the EU got the awareness, and we were very happy to have Christophe Morand interviewed DG DEFIS to get the American perspective. That's one of the interviews that we will provide you later on. But is it a catch-up? No, I think it's Europe has to will build, and that's what Kubilio said, its own sovereign capabilities. And Professor Kazuto Suzuki from Japan said, we know that we can't get everything we want to have as sovereign capabilities, so we have to focus on what we need, and that in the strategy. So picking out the things that we really, really, really need and have to own, and the rest can be done and also with commercial providers. And I think that is a lecture. Even Europe is a huge market, no doubt, but Europe has to go as well. So we can't do everything at once. It's technically difficult, but also we need the time to prepare the things and focus and combine resources and all of that. What is against the European disease that we have, that everyone is doing its own stuff.
But there was an audience member from Space Force who
Yeah.
reminded us and quite openly stated, remember that even in recent memory in 2021, there was a fractional orbital test that took place, and that system remains, in his estimation, and no one challenged him in the room, the most advanced tech test that has taken place in the world. And as a reminder that there's still someone ahead of the curve and that we all have a lot of work to do. And that was for the US as well. So, let's say that the closing thoughts for today, for the morning sessions, really got me. And this was that these kind of meetings are great, but they really want to get to answers, that these should lead to answers, to solutions, to collaborations with tangible outcomes and activities and tasks at hand. And I think that's what's going to come out of this one for us. There's going to be I think, a plan of action for all partners who are here involved. And maybe even forging new collaborations.
Yep.
Yeah?
That's right.
Did you see any opportunities today that emerged kind of on top?
I didn't look at it, honestly. I would at the special panel on annual military partnerships that I followed closely. It discussed the strategic importance of space capabilities among NATO allies, and General Thomas James, Deputy Commander of Space Command, emphasized 3 moral responsibilities. And it's, when militaries talk about moral, you better listen.
But that was also, before that, the representative from EU in that final statement also said to that he thinks that we need to see an alignment of member states, even within just Europe, and then globally.
That's right.
Yeah, for that effort.
And these 3 moral responsibilities were providing space-based capabilities, okay, check. Protecting the assets, okay, check. And defending against space-based attacks. Okay. Then General Traut, the German space commander, gave the German perspective, and we will provide it also in detail in an interview that I conducted with him. And then the Polish General Gorka shared his view on the need for a balanced approach between commercial and sovereign capabilities. Why is that? Poland has today no space assets up there, so it can't use any assets. But they're on their way. So they're building now a bridge between commercial services and their own build one. And I think that's what we will see from a number of emerging space nations. Because when we talk from a German point of view, sure, we're a big country, we have assets in space. When we talk from a French, from a UK point of view, these are big space nations. But when you talk with an Estonian, with a Latvian, even with an Austrian, so these are very small countries, but still in the EU, and they have their needs as well. And so how to bridge it, that will be interesting to see in the future how unified Europe will be in the future. And even here I will highlight the interview with Christophe Morand when we talked about the future of EU defense programs, and that shed some interesting lights that were very surprising for me.
I think a lot of light will be shed from all the space radio interviews that we have. So you're going to be seeing those come online very soon. And those conversations were even a deeper dive outside of the panels, where they were able to explain in depth about their plans or their visions or what their strategy would be. And it gave a lot of thought for how these collaborations are going to come together. Are we going to see united fronts, and in what ways? Yeah. So I'm excited to see for the next day. I mean, it was packed today.
Tomorrow's just a half day, so that's a good thing.
That's all. But we make the most of that.
One highlight for me tomorrow, and we will talk about it potentially tomorrow morning in our morning show as well, will be an interview at 8 o'clock in the morning. Very early, very challenging for an interview with General Gorka. But he is military. I mean, he's used to get up potentially at 4:30, do some physical exercises. It's just the lazy civilians here. Good. I mean, we stressed your time here for this recap today. think, are we done?
We know we need a nice space joke today.
Oh, we need a space joke.
Inappropriate for this context.
Okay, challenge me. So, why was a defense analyst afraid of the moon?
Why?
Too many faces, and it's definitely up for something at full illumination. With that,
That was appropriate.
SpaceWatch out.